What's going on, guys? TheDeathOfAnEra here, and today I'm bringing you episode number 14 in my Modern Warfare 3 campaign veteran walkthrough. This is the 14th mission. This is Scorched Earth. So right here at the very beginning, you can see that we're getting blown up, but that's not when the mission starts. We go back 20 minutes earlier in a couple of seconds here. But before we get started with that, I'm going to remind you guys that I forgot to record the whole veteran campaign with audio, and I kind of messed up just due to broadcasting reasons on my podcast. So that being said, there is no audio, and I will do my best to commentate over most of it. But this is supposed to be a strategic advice video, and it's not meant to be a commentary that's supposed to suck you guys in. And I hope you're only watching this for the sole purpose of beating campaign on veteran, in hopes. Basically, I'm doing this in hopes to help you guys out, because I used to struggle quite a bit with the previous Call of Duties, and I used to resort to YouTube to help me out. So, right at the beginning here, you can see we're in a helicopter, okay? And this part is probably one of the trickiest parts in the in this mission, I should say. Basically, we're going to jump off the helicopter immediately, and what you guys need to do is you need to brake to the left, take cover as soon as you can. And I actually died quite a few times here. There's a bunch of guys in the window, there's a bunch of guys on the ground. So basically, you can see what is working for me. So I immediately ran to the left. I took cover behind these barrels, and don't worry, there's going to be guys rushing at you, so you need to be prepared for this. And as you can see, I get pretty lucky this time. I died a couple of times previous to this, but I hope that this does help you out. Basically, what I did here is I laid down prone right off the bat. I took a couple of guys off the upstairs level just so they couldn't get the upper hand on me. I took them out. I proceeded forward. I took out the two guys on the ground, and then basically we proceeded to clear out this little rooftop. I took it from left to right, and my team was all on the right side. So it worked out pretty quickly, and it was pretty effective, and I hope that will help you guys out. And you guys are probably going to struggle quite a bit on this part if you're having trouble with the previous campaign missions. This was the most difficult campaign mission for me in the game. I don't know why, but I just had a lot of difficulty with it. So as you can see, we're inside here, and what you need to do is there's obviously this huge wall of cover, and forward in this room there's tons of enemies, so you can do this many different ways, and you can see the way I did it. I always take rooms from side to side, or from left or right, I should say, and I never really progressed through the center of the room. And the reason I do this is because I don't want the enemies to attack me from both the left and right side. I would rather only deal with enemies coming from either the left or the right. So that being said, push through this room, take out enemies, move forward, and use these cubicles as cover. They work very well for you in this situation, and you shouldn't really have a problem getting through this part. It's one of the easier parts in the campaign mission. So obviously, once that is complete, you're going to want to do pretty much the same thing upstairs. Move forward. You can either use the cubicles for cover, or you can use these filing cabinets like I do. And remember, you can see me throwing flashbangs, you see me throwing grenades. Use these to your advantage, and when enemies throw grenades at you like that just happened, throw them back if you're close enough, and if you're not, run away. You have plenty of time. They don't really cook grenades in this game, so keep that in mind. So as you can see here, I'm kind of just standing behind this filing cabinet, and I'm picking up quite a few kills here, and I'm basically going to take this room very slowly. Make sure all the enemies are dead. I'm going to push forward to my next piece of cover, as you can see me do so now. I'm going to proceed to take out more enemies and push forward when it is safe and clear to proceed to the next piece of cover. And that being said, you guys, you may have a little bit of difficulty getting through this, but please let me know in a comment down below if you're having any difficulty throughout any of these missions or any of the previous missions. I will do my best to give you all the advice I can in hopes to help you beat the campaign mission if you are struggling. Alright, so now that that room is cleared out, we're going to proceed up a staircase here, and you can see I'm looking for enemy intel, but I can't really find it. This part right here was a little bit tricky for me as well. I actually died quite a few times here as well. Basically, this is what worked for me, and what was effective for me at the end of the day. As you can see here, I'm kind of just standing in the staircase, and I'm trying to take off as many people as I can before I proceed onto the roof. I tried a few different approaches to this part, and I tried to run behind the sandbags immediately, and I found I kept dying. They kept throwing grenades at me. I tried to take cover on the right hand side in the right hand corner. That didn't work for me either. So I would basically, my best advice to you guys is take position in the staircase, pick off all the enemies, and your teammate will help you at this point. So don't worry. Once the roof is clear, you will proceed to the corner to provide support sniper cover for your the other half of your team, which is in another building across the way. as for this part goes, this is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. You can see I have a bunch of targets on the roof over here. Just simply pick them off. They're not really going to hit you. They're pretty far away. They're using assault rifles and they're pretty inaccurate, so you shouldn't really have a problem, and you probably shouldn't die in this part. But it is pretty easy, so just take your time, kill everybody on the roof, and then once that has occurred, your team will progress through the rest of the building here, and I will be back in a couple of seconds with my next piece of advice for you guys. Alright, so you can see your team has landed on the roof here, so just take position, stare straight at this doorway, and pick everybody off before they even walk through. It should be fairly quick to get through this part if you're accurate with your bullets. I only let a couple of guys outside and I missed quite a few shots. So if you guys are accurate with snipers and you're efficient with it, you shouldn't really have any difficulty taking these guys out quick and effectively. Alright, as we can see, we have enemy armor here on the ground, and basically you're going to get air support for this, and the way you need to use this is it's basically a targeting system on how it works, and what you will need to do is basically, you'll see here in a couple of seconds, I try to shoot an RPG, it's very ineffective, but they give you this thing. So the way you need to target it, you can target it straight on it if they're moving pretty slow, but you can also do a 2-point target, and it'll basically do an airstrike swipe for those 2 targets. So you can see that, well, you can't really see, I guess, at this point, but the airstrike comes in, it destroys everything right there. You're going to see 2 more tanks come in, and just look how I mark these ones. I'm going to wait a couple of seconds here, and I'm going to kind of mark them in the front of each other and basically lead my airstrike shots just so I can ensure the tanks that are basically within this airstrike range when the airstrike does come in. So it is a fairly effective airstrike, so don't worry if you're not exactly accurate with it. You shouldn't really have any difficulties getting through that part. Alright, so at this point within the mission, you can see that your team actually got blown up in the other building, and you can't hear any response from them. So basically, you and your partner here are going to progress through the mission, and you're going to basically try to save the president's daughter. And that's the whole point of this mission. You're trying to support a team that is trying to basically get in and rescue the president's daughter, but you're going to basically take actions into your own hands at this point. You just run up to this rappel down the building. It's pretty easy. Just hold X. There's nothing much really that you need to do here, and it's pretty quick. Alright, so the next part of the mission here, you have to pick up the RPG and destroy this enemy tank right here on the bridge. So it's pretty easy. The RPG is just right behind this car. Once that is complete, proceed to pick off the rest of the enemies here. They should be pretty unaware if you're that you're there if you took out the tank very quick, so you should have the upper hand on them. Be sure to take out the ones on the left hand side first, just to ensure that you will live. I almost died there a couple of times, as you can see, but I took them out pretty quick and effectively. Once this is complete, you're going to want to move up to the next checkpoint. Alright, so we have progressed to our next checkpoint here, and this part is fairly difficult, so I actually died quite a few times. As you can see, there was a little bit of a chop there. I think I died 5 or 6 times within this part. I just couldn't really figure out how to beat it, and I struggled quite a bit. So basically, you need to use all this cover in the streets to your advantage, and you need to move up very, very wisely and make sure you're clear. You probably will die quite a few times doing this. This was, again, the hardest mission in the campaign for me. So you can see immediately I run up to the center, and I take cover behind these cars. And on the right-hand side, you can see there's a building there that there's a bunch of enemies around, and these are the enemies you need to watch out for, because these are the guys that killed me quite a few times. Alright, so with this part you can see I take my time very, very slowly, obviously, in taking out the guys in the bank, and what you need to do is you need to run up to the tank to get it to progress forward in the street. So if you're planning to just sit back the whole time at the very back of the street, you simply cannot do that. You have to run up with the tank so it does keep moving forward. So as you can see, I brake to the left side here, and I actually die again pretty quick, and you might see a chop in the screen, but basically use this corner to your advantage. It works out very well. There's tons of cover here. I tried to go on the right-hand side of the street, and it simply did not work out for me. So right here, there's all these barriers. They work out very well for your advantage, and this corner right here overall, it works out tremendously. So I'd encourage you guys to move up the left-hand side and use all this cover to your advantage as you can. And as you can see here, the tank is moving forward, and I'm kind of just taking my time because there's tons of enemies in the street, and I just simply do not want to die again. So with this part, I would highly recommend just taking it very, very, very slowly and ensuring that you will live, because it is very frustrating to have to die, go all the way back to the end of the street, and all that kind of stuff. So just take your time, make sure you're clear before you run up to the tank, and you're simply going to get this explosion right here. So alright, so we are back at the point at the very beginning of the mission where it showed the little flash forward, basically, right before it said 20 minutes earlier, and this is where we are in the mission. So this point, you just need to follow your team or your partner here, follow him straight up, basically run through this whole part, and follow him all the way to the next building. Alright, so we have reached the end of the building here, and you got to be very careful here, because once we blow through this door, there's going to be a few enemies firing at you. So I'd encourage you guys to run to the left immediately like I just did. Take cover behind these cubicles. It will be tons of help to you guys, and I think there's a total of 5 or 6 enemies across the road in the house and on the ground. So as you can see, I switched to my hybrid site here, just trying to scope out enemies, trying to get a better vision of where they are. And basically, once you take out these 5 or 6 guys, you can progress forward and move into the next building. So we are into the next building right now, and you can see we're kind of in this bar style area, and what you need to do here is basically take cover and sweep this room one enemy by one enemy at a time. It should be pretty quick and effective. You can see I'm kind of standing behind this tipped over bookcase, it looks like, right at the door, and I actually switched to an M21 just because it's obviously easier to take out these enemies. And if you still have the M21 from the beginning of the mission, you shouldn't really have any difficulty getting through this room. It should be a fairly quick and effective process. Alright, so we have progressed through the next room, and when you come down the stairs immediately, check your right hand side. There will be a few enemies behind these cubicles. There should be only one or two, and once you complete that, you can progress through to the next door, and at this point you're basically going to run up the stairs, and it's pretty straightforward. There's no enemies on the way up these stairs, so you shouldn't really have any difficulty. So I do believe this is the last hallway before we make it to the roof. So there's only a few enemies in this hallway. Once they are down, just simply follow your teammate to the roof. Alright, so we are coming down to the very end of this mission here. We simply breach one more doorway, simply take out these enemies with the pistol. There's only two guys, should be very quick. That being said, we're at the very end of the mission, so if you guys have any comments or you're having troubles with anything within this mission, leave a comment down below. Please leave a rating also. I'd really appreciate it. If this video did help you out, please leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it and you thought it was terrible, leave a thumbs down. Ratings help me improve the overall quality of my videos. That being said, I hope I did help you out with this commentary, and good luck beating this mission, guys. I know it was one of my absolute hardest to beat. So thanks for watching, as always, guys.